All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to hit Kelle and the mobile app for our tech workshop. So the first thing you really want to make sure you have done, just to make sure that all these things are set up correctly, is some foundational stuff. So we're going to go to agent.kw.com, and then we're going to get logged in just as if we were going into command like on our desktop. So I know we're going to talk about all mobile stuff today, but this is kind of the key in setting it up correctly. So I want to make sure everybody has that thing correct. So when you first get in, one of the big things you have to make sure you have done is your marketing profile. If you haven't done that already, most of you guys I know I've had this chat with, but if you haven't done that already, you're going to go next to your name, hit the settings drop down, and then we're going to roll over to connect settings and hit marketing profile. And you're going to need to go through and fill all this stuff out. If you haven't done it yet, I suggest doing this little teal box that says marketing profile Kelle guide. It's kind of like a setup wizard, and that's what will set you up. And it'll ask you for your picture, and if you have a team logo and a phone number and an email and a website and social media and all that fun stuff. When you complete that, this little green light here should turn on. And as long as you have that little green light turned on, that means your website, your app, all of your landing pages, all that kind of stuff are branding correctly. So if you do not have that green light on, when you try to get on your app or you try to share your app, you're just going to be sharing the generic one, which is the KW one, which is great for your customers, but doesn't help you retain the leads or set up showings or any of that stuff. So if you're having any issues with any of these things, make sure you just jump on, do that marketing profile Kelle guide. If you get stuck or you need help, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 11, I do tech help desk on the same link that we're on. And you can jump on at any time and I'll kind of work through it with you. But it's really self-explanatory. You can see kind of just picture, very basic names, a bio, phone numbers, websites, emails. Your office should auto-populate in there. The legal footer stays automatically. If you have any social, you're going to throw it in there. And if you use Pixel or Analytics, it'll just go in there. So all of these things are pretty simple. Shouldn't be any difficulties here. So just make sure you guys have that set up. The other thing I want to show you and make sure that you have correct and understand is how to actually share the mobile app. So I get a lot of questions and texts and calls and saying it doesn't work, or it's not my app, or I'm in the wrong spot, or I can't find the search. When I share my phone screen in a minute, I'll show you the difference. But for the purpose of this training today, I need you to kind of be able to flip back and forth between two different hats. And one of those hats is going to be a real estate agent. And when you have your real estate agent hat on and you're working, you're going to use the Kelle app, which is the one that's teal and white. And when you're trying to search homes or send the app to someone, you're going to be using the Keller Williams real estate app, which that you're going to have a consumer hat on to kind of understand things. And that's the white and red one. And I'm going to show you that one too. But I just want you to understand that it is two separate apps. They're not really connected. They're two completely separate apps. And if you're not using both of them separately, that's where you're going to run into some issues. And a lot of people kind of struggle because they're only using one or they're not really sure which one is which. So I just want to make sure that you guys are kind of understanding that. So as we go through this today, I'll kind of inform you on which one we're always on. Some of the other key setup things, you're going to go to the link on the left side that says consumer. If you can't find that, click the red KW, and it should be the second from the bottom one. If you're on an older version or you haven't been on here in a while, yours might say websites and it might say landing pages. And if it says any of those three, it's no big deal. I just need it to say either consumer, landing pages, or sites. As long as it says one of those, you're good. It's always going to be second from the bottom. So click on that one. And it's going to bring you into everything that's consumer facing. So we're not going to hit all this stuff today because some of these are different classes, but I want you to see a couple of key things. First, on the top right, site and app settings. In your setup, you want to make sure you click on that. And a couple of things that you want to just make sure of in here that are important. Number one is that green light is still on that we spoke about earlier. And number two, if you click on URLs and scroll to the bottom, you're going to see this thing that says app URL. This is your unique branded Keller Williams app. So you can click the copy button and it will copy it onto the keyboard. Or the clipboard rather, I'm sorry. If you hit copy, it'll copy that. And then if you go to open that somewhere else, you'll see what it looks like. It'll be your branded version of the app that it will try to connect them to. So it'll either take them to the app store if they're on a mobile device, or I'm doing this from my MacBook, and it will try to get me to download the app here. And you can see that it's yours because it'll have your picture on it. If it doesn't have your name and your picture when you do this, that means you're unbranded, and most likely your little green light isn't on. So when you send this to any of the consumers that you're working with or anyone that you want to see your app, just test it first. Go on there, go to site and app settings, URLs, copy this, and send it to yourself and just test it. And what you really want to do is you do want to download your own app and realize that you're using it as if you were a real estate buyer or a seller, not as a real estate agent. So when you share it out, it's going to be branded to you, and you're going to be looking at it with that consumer hat on that we talked about earlier. So you can either click right into either the App Store or the Play Store, or you can even have it send a text right away to whatever link. So make sure you find this link here that we talked about, this URL, and copy it and put it somewhere. It should really be on all your marketing. You should maybe have it in your email signature. You should have it kind of handy in text. What I do with me is all the important things that I need to send to people. I use the notes feature on the iPhone, and I just keep those things in notes. So if somebody ever says, hey, can you send me the link? I can just go into my notes, copy it, and paste it right away, and I can send it right to them. And when they get this page, there's a little video about the app, all the features, so it has a couple little things. It's pretty easy for people to download. So just make sure you guys know how to find that and you use that, because that will help a lot. And then one other thing I want to show you is this guide builder. If you haven't been in the app recently, this isn't going to make sense, but when we get in the app, it will. Everybody has two guides. One is for buyers and one is for sellers. And these are kind of step-by-step things that take place actually in the app on the mobile device that you can edit and work on from the computer. So these guides kind of give a step-by-step process to your consumer about how they work through a transaction. So they'll be able to actually check these boxes off and say, okay, we started our search. Did we get pre-approved? Yes. So they always kind of know what's next. They know the process, and you can reorganize these things, which is kind of cool. So if you want to be able to say, I want them to, I don't know, this doesn't make sense, obviously, but if you wanted them to make an offer before touring homes, you can move around the order that they get these things. So you can kind of customize how you like to do your sales process. So you might make your first one meet a real estate agent in the office or on Zoom or whatever. You can kind of create the process so you can guide them through how this goes, and it will make it a little bit easier because they'll always kind of know what's next. So it's in logical order. Start your search, get approved, go look at homes, write an offer, get a contract done, get inspection, get insurance, if you do a warranty, and then close. If you want to add other things to these, you might add final walkthrough, or you might add create mode, or anything else that's like specific to your process. If you want to add that, you can by hitting add a step. If you don't want to and you just want to use what they can, no problem. And again, if you have no idea where this is, you're going to see it when I share my actual phone screen in a minute, but I don't want to keep flipping back and forth between the phone and the computer. So I wanted you guys to kind of see this. So any questions so far just on this basic setup and foundation before we actually dive into the phone? If you have a question, just unmute and ask. And if not, then I'm going to share my phone. But
hey, Ryan.
Hey.
It's Lee. Two quick questions.
Sure.
When we're doing the marketing profile at the bottom, it asked about the pixel.
Yeah.
Is there a way to tell that it went through correctly?
Not really. Only if you get any data in Facebook.
Okay. So you have to go through your Facebook business to see if it worked.
Okay.
Correct. And then the second thing is on the app URL. Do you know if there's any plans where we can input a vanity URL there yet?
So right now you can't put it in there, but you can have one. So you can have like leesapp.com and then just point it to that and it will go right there. But right now there's no like customizing of the URL like you can with the website yet.
Gotcha. Because I know when we do a smart campaign, I do have a vanity one, but when you do a smart or a campaign, it puts the app link, it puts that weird one.
The number. Yeah, it kind of builds it right in. So you can write it in, like the verbiage, or when you send it out to people, you could send out like go to leesapp.com or whatever, whatever your vanity.
Okay. I just didn't know if they had it set up yet, but perfect.
Yeah, no, right now you can't customize. Anybody else, any questions on that foundational stuff before I flip onto my phone? All right, I'm going to try to share my phone here. Forgive me in advance if anything bad comes up or phone calls come in or anything like that, because my phone usually doesn't stop all day. So I put it on Do Not Disturb, so we should be okay. But let's see. All right, let me see. Okay. Can everybody, somebody just say yes if you can see my phone? I can see it and it looks like it's sharing, but just confirm with me that it is, please.
Sure
Yes,
is.
I can see it. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. So I don't know if anybody else goes crazy seeing all these notifications all over the place, but they're driving me insane. So bear with me on that. All right, so the two things I really want to kind of show is just the two parts of these real estate apps that we're going to talk about. One is on the top left, the white with the red KW, the very top left one. That is the consumer app. And the other one, the bottom middle, Kelle, is the real estate agent app. So this is essentially Command Mobile. This is what connects Command to your phone and allows you to work remotely. So I'm going to start with that one because it's a little bit shorter and we're just going to go over some basic features. I'm going to give you a couple tips. And then we'll spend the rest of the time on the consumer app. So if you have Kelle on your phone and you want to open it up and follow along, great. If not, please make sure you get it downloaded today. And I want to give you a little trick. So the way Keller Williams works with doing updates for software is they break it down into 3 groups of how people get stuff. So the nerds like myself that are in this stuff playing and helping people with it all the time, we get it first. Then who gets it second are the people that interact with our technology 3 times a day. So they know that there's some activity, you know, on the app and that the agents are using it. And then last is everybody else. So if you have Kelle on your phone and you go into it 3 times a day or just take 3 actions in it every day, it's going to help you get the updates faster. So I know a lot of people, when I teach these classes, they'll say like, oh, I don't have that yet. How do you have that? That's how you get kind of ahead of the curve. So I would make sure you download Kelle, even if you're not fully using the technology yet. Get on to Kelle and get logged in. The login is the same as your command. So whatever you use to log into command, you're going to use the same thing, which I guess is wrong. All right. And then when you get logged in, I'm going to go through these, but you want to make sure again that you get on here and you do 3 actions per day. So when we get logged into here, a lot of things are going to come up. Across the top, you see where it says Tammy Lambert. I can scroll to the right, and all these people are contacts that I have in my phone that I need to either follow up with or pay attention to, or that are recent contacts to me in my phone. So you can just kind of scroll through those. I'm just flipping them with my finger right now. On the very top right, you're going to see a bell, and in that bell is your notifications. So it will show you if there's anything you need to pay attention to today. So if I had set up tasks and I have to follow up with them, it'll show me those. And you'll see it says 0 tasks due today, 2 overdue. So I don't have any that were supposed to be due today, but I have 2 that I missed somewhere in the past that I need to catch up on. So it kind of alerts me of that. Then when I scroll down a little bit, it shows the local insights. So these are added by other people. I can add more of these if I want. So if I'm driving around and I stop by the dog park, I can take a picture of the dog park and add this in. Then you're going to see the neighborhoods that are around wherever you are at the moment. And you can kind of look through what those Kelle snaps look like. So if you want to send that to someone or just kind of have rapid neighborhood information, this works really great if you're standing in a neighborhood and, you know, you're showing a buyer or you're looking at an open house, or maybe you're going to a FSBO, whatever. It will show you all the areas that are around you. So I'm in Lake Worth Beach at the moment, and it shows all the neighborhoods that are around me and what's going on in all those neighborhoods. So kind of cool that it's just like readily available there. These are the referral platforms. So these are, if you have any that you haven't answered yet, or any people that have tried to connect with you that you haven't connected with, those are all in here. So you'll see inbound, outbound, and awaiting response. Then if you scroll down a little bit, is people that I subscribe to, or any of the KW people that have put out new videos. So if you subscribe to anybody's content, or KW releases any new videos, you'll see them all here. So you can kind of go through and look at them. Then if you look down a little bit further, you have the Ask Kelle bar. So you can ask it a question. You can type in, I don't know, when do I cap, or something like that. You could type in, what would Gary say, I think it is now, and they give you like a little quote. There's a bunch of little things that kind of come up there. what I just did there, that counts as an interaction. So again, if you want to interact 3 times a day to kind of improve your ability to get replays, not replays, rather to get the updates, that's how you are going to do that there. And then if you go back to the home screen here on the bottom, you can see everything. So home is the first button. Command is the second one. If I click on it, it allows me to go into my contacts, my insights, see what's going on the map, connect with referrals, connect with mortgage, and connect to my task manager. I can go to connect, which if you're using Connect, this is what allows you to kind of look at the Connect feed, which is basically internal education. So I always kind of tell people Command is consumer facing and Connect is a real estate agent to real estate agent. So if you're looking to learn, that's where you're going to do that. Consumer, this is where the tie-in will be coming for the consumer app to Command. So you'll be able to see when someone looks at something or does something, this is where it will connect. And then if you go to more, you'll be able to see your profile, your settings, any of your notifications. You can log out, or if you're having a problem or something isn't working, you can submit the feedback. So ideally what you do is you put a screenshot of what's not working and then put it in there and tell them that, and then they work on it to fix it for you. So these are just kind of the basics of Kelle here. Again, we want to get everybody on there 2 to 3 times, well, 3 times a day minimum. Will help you get the updates and make sure that you're kind of staying in the loop with all the technology. So all this stuff just scrolls with a flip of a thumb. I know you obviously can't see my fingers, but I'm just sliding left and right on this. So any questions on Kelle before we move on? Is anybody using it? Kind of tell me where we're at with that, just so I understand who's using what and who's not, and where we kind of at with things.
I have been using it for my ad leads, but the only thing is it only shows like the 10 recent, and then I have to go to my computer and see all the rest. For some reason, it wouldn't show me. I think it's 10.
Yeah. So ideally what happens is like once you're all caught up, the goal of Kelle is that you just know, okay, well, a new one came in, you know, 1 new one came in overnight or 2 new ones came in overnight or whatever, and I need to pay attention to those. So once you're all caught up on all those leads and get them all cleaned out of there, then it's the goal is eventually it's going to be more like a speed to lead thing. So if you're out in the field and you see a lead comes in, you can click on it right away and be like, okay, I need to reach out to this person and get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any Kelle questions? If not, we're going to move on to the mobile app, but I want to make sure we hit everything that you guys want to chat about here before we move on.
So I'm not all the things that you just.
Go ahead, Monty.
Yours is?
You cut out there, Monty. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Yeah, mine isn't displaying all the things that you just shared with us. Is that because mine isn't updated to the extent yours is?
It could be. So if you just logged in for the first time, or if you just started using it, some of these things will start appearing. So just start popping on there 3 times a day. Okay. And it could literally be for 45 seconds. You know, just go on here, do 3 things, and then get off, and it will start kind of coming together.
Thank you.
So
yeah, no problem. Go ahead, Lee.
So the app will update on its own. We don't have to force update it like through App Store or Play Store.
It'll just come out. It'll, like, when there's a big update, it just comes into the App Store for an update. So they like fix the content on the back end often, but usually like once a week or so, there's updates on all of the KW stuff. So just kind of always pay attention to the App Store and see if anything is like a massive update.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. I try to just go in there like once a week and look and make sure, you know, whatever apps I need to get caught up on. All right. Anybody else on Kelle? If not, we're going to move on to consumer. All right. Let me share my screen back. Hang on 1 second. So you're better off just saying, no. All right, let me know. Can you guys see my screen again? Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to spend the rest of the time in the consumer app. And what I really need you to think here is I need you to take your real estate agent hat off and put on the consumer hat for the rest of the time here, because this app is not designed for you to go on it as a real estate agent to do real estate agent duties. This is designed for a consumer to be on it. So when we get on here, you know, some people are saying, oh, why can't I connect with the consumer here? Or why can't I do this? Or why can't I do that? It's because this is not an agent portal. It is strictly a consumer portal. our side of it is Kelle and Command. So a lot of questions that come up about this app are really based on the fact that they're just not in the right mindset when they're using it. So as soon as I touch this button here, the white and red KW, we're going to put consumer hats on and just be okay with that. And we'll go through all the features. And it's important that you have this on your phone, number one, even though it's for consumer. And number two, you understand how to play with it, because very often what will happen is you'll get a consumer that texts you and says, hey, I'm trying to do this on the app, or do you know how to find this, or do you know how to do this? And if you've never been on it, it looks kind of silly when you can't figure it out. So what will happen is whatever area you're searching in last, it'll just kind of leave that up. So I guess I was in Gardens, Jupiter kind of area looking around here. So you'll see the default that comes up on the screen is always going to be the map. And it will take a little while, and then it'll populate all the homes that are for sale on the map, not filtered out at all. To me, this view is obnoxious to look at, but if you like it, that's cool. You know, it doesn't really matter what I like. But there's a way to flip it. So the top left, if you click on the button that says list, you'll see it'll flip to the list view, and then you can kind of just scroll. So either one you want to use is totally fine, and you can just flip back and forth in real time at any time. So the top left next to the search bar, I'm hitting the button that says list, and then if I want to flip back, I'm hitting the button that says map. So you can flip back from there as much as you want. Now, if you decide that you want to just narrow it down, there's a couple ways to do that. So I can draw. So if I hit the button that says draw, I can draw a polygon just like in the MLS. So if I want to just live somewhere in there, I can do that. And then again, it'll populate and it'll show them in the map, and it will also show them on the list. And the other way is if I want to just type in that I want to live in Jupiter, I can type that in, find it.
Right, where are you doing all this? Because I don't see this.
So right, you see the app screen, right? On the very right side of it, like the top third, there should be a button that says draw. That's how I drew that little polygon. And at the very top in the search bar where the little hourglass thing was, where it says Jupiter, Florida now, and I just opened up, you can type in a town. So if I want to be in Boynton Beach, type in Boynton Beach, and then when it comes up,
I guess I just don't see draw anywhere. Oh, I see where you are, but I'm not, yeah, I don't see it.
On the right side now, it's like under the word save.
I mean, I see yours, but I don't see mine.
Huh, that's weird. We'll check it out after.
No, it's not. It's me. Remember, it's me.
So when you pick the town that you want to live in, or the area that you want to live in, or if you drew on the map, you're going to get a little more slimmed down, zoomed in kind of version of it. And then we still have the ability to filter in a lot of different ways. So we can click on the price button at the top to filter our price. So right now the default is $0 to $20 million. So we can change that to whatever we want it to be. So maybe we want to go up to 400, hit done. And each one of these filters, then we'll just start breaking down our search. Then we want to go to bed. So maybe we need 3 bedrooms. So we'll click on that. Then at the top, we're going to go to property type. And maybe we only want single family. So we're going to click on houses. And then if we go to more, there's a list of other things that we can search by if we want to. So if we want to do living area, so square footage, lot size, what year it was built. Keyword is like if you want to search for pool or garage or renovated kitchen or something like that. Open house only is things that have open houses on the books. Price reduced in the last 7 days. It pulls the data from the MLS to see if they've been price reduced. And hidden, there's a way that you can kind of hide listings if you want, that I'll show you in a second. So when we do all those filters and we hit done, we'll get a new map of what we filtered, and we'll also get a new list. So on the top left, if we hit list, it'll also show us that list. So we can just scroll through. And again, we have a consumer hat on here. So they're scrolling through and seeing what they like. Let's just say they like this one. They can hit the little heart and choose where they want to put this. So they can save it into a favorites list, kind of similar to the MLS or Zillow or Truly or any of the big sites. So if they want to create a favorites list, they can do that. They can put a note in there. Whatever, I like this one because it's yellow, and then I can save it. And then that goes into my saved collections, which I'll show you in a little bit. They can also click on it
Ryan, can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the features that I can't find on here are schools. I know you can do it with the MLS. Can you do it with this app or no?
Sort of. So some of the school districts you can search by and some of them you can't. So
Okay.
in the search feature, like see where I have Boynton Beach up there? Now if I type in Wellington, sometimes it will show you like if there's a school district that it recognizes there. Like if you scroll down here, see how it says school districts? See where it says Wellington School District there? If I want to be in Wellington School District.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That. So they don't all work, I'll tell you that. And then this
Yeah.
one up Wellington, Kansas School District. So
okay. So like if I had somebody who wanted just kids going to Binks Forest Elementary, I couldn't do that.
Let's see. So sometimes it finds it. And sometimes it doesn't. I found the neighborhood, but not the school.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no. So it just found the neighborhood there, not the school.
Okay.
Sometimes it does. There's some of them in there. So they pull that data from next door, and like every update, you'll see more of that stuff kind of comes through. So when we're in that list or in the map, again, we can just kind of scroll through and look through. And when we actually click on a house, so if you touch on the house, you can see they can scroll through the pictures. When they scroll down, they have a couple options. They can save it, which I showed you before. They can hide it. So if they say, oh, I just hate this listing, I don't want to see it again, they can hide it. Or they can share it. So they can send it directly to people if they want to do that. Scroll down a little further, you'll see there's a Kelle Mortgage and Kelle Insurance option. Scroll down a little further, you get the MLS description, which is that paragraph. And then all the details. It'll show what neighborhood it's in. So these neighborhoods match up with the Kelle snaps and the neighborhood feature on the smart plan. So it'll show where that actually is and all the stats for that neighborhood. It has the local say thing, all the information that it pulls from Yelp. The commute times is pretty cool. The buyer has the ability to add places, so they can add where they go to school or work or church or pick up their kids or whatever. And then it will show the actual commute time, how long it'll take to get there. Driving, biking, walking. So I have KW Boca in here. You can see if I bought this house, it would take me 22 minutes to drive to KW Boca, an hour and 54 minutes to bike, and the rest of my life to walk there. So you can add as many of those places as you want. So this is a cool feature for people that are trying to balance, you know, a work commute and picking up kids and getting to activities. They can put that in there and it ties right into Google Maps. So it's pretty cool. You scroll down further, it'll pull the schools, public and private, that are closest to that area. If there's any open houses, rough guess on a mortgage calculation, and then the ability to schedule a tour right through the app, which connects to you. So as long as the app is branded to you, it'll give you a request to do that. So all these features are in each individual property. And if you see this branded stuff at the bottom, this is what I put in my marketing profile. So if you don't have a marketing profile filled out, you don't get any of the social tie-ins or anything. So this is what an actual consumer is seeing when they're looking through one house or one property that they want to see with you. So I think it's important that you guys go on and test and find a house or a listing that you have and just kind of understand how it works so that you can see, you know, what the consumer sees and what they're getting when they search that. So
hey, Ryan, at the bottom, it said schedule a showing or a tour. Where does that info go when they hit that?
It should come into your notifications in Kelle and into Command. And it will also go to their contact card in Command. So even when I heart one, it will go like to their contact. It'll say Lee favorited 123 Main Street or 6853 Bayshore Drive here.
Thanks.
Ryan, I just did that and it said find an agent.
That means you're not on your branded one. You're on the generic one.
Oh.
So I'll show you where to look at that in a second.
Okay.
So this feed thing is basically a real-time chat where you can connect with your agent or you can connect with a co-buyer. So if you have a husband and wife or two spouses that are connecting, they can use this feed feature to send things back and forth instead of having to like screenshot or get out of the app. I'll show you where you have the ability to add those people in the profile. Then there's the guide. So those of you that were on from the beginning, we showed and talked about those guides. So If you remember, it was start your search, get pre-approved, tour homes. So let's say they make an offer, they can check that option off and then continue onward and say, okay, I did this step. I marked this step as completed. We already made the offer. There's a little script in there. There's a little step that you can see that says exactly what's going to happen during that. And you can customize all this. So anything you want to explain to your consumers, you have the ability to do through this app, which is pretty cool. So you really get to kind of guide them through the process, how you want it to be and how you want it to work, which is nice. So let's just say you only use the as is contract. Instead of where it says your offer will be written using the most recent standard purchase forms, you can say you will receive from me an offer, with all the terms filled out on an as is contract. You'll need to sign this, whatever. So you can edit and customize every one of these little steps all the way through. And you can add or delete any ones that you don't like. There's one for sellers as well. So if you're dealing with sellers, same thing. You have the ability to do that. If you click on the little heart at the very bottom, second from the last one, it says save. And there is where the consumer can look at what they have saved. So if you remember, we called my little collection round 2. I saved this one because it was yellow. And you can see my little note, even though I can't type, that says I'm supposed to say I like this because it's yellow. And you can see the notes. So the consumer can put their own notes on these houses. So they can say, remember to ask Ryan about this, or I like this one, but the location isn't great, or I like this one, but it needs to get renovated, or whatever it is. They can put all these notes in there, and they can always add notes right from here as well. And save those. So they can always kind of keep a record of how that's going on. And then last but not least in the app is the more button. So when you click on the more button, it unlocks a lot of things. So if you hit more, when it says your agent, if it doesn't say you, that means you're not in your branded version. So if you do see you, you'll be able to see the profile. And this is, again, what you put into your marketing profile inside of Command. So make sure you fill this stuff out as much as you want. There's a refer option right from here, which is kind of cool. So you can send a referral to someone else. So if I'm a consumer and my friend says, hey, they're thinking about buying a house, I can go into my app and refer my friend to the agent that I like. So there's that. Then there's the co-buyer piece. So if you want to add another buyer, so if you're working with, just say you're working with the husband and you haven't met the wife yet, you can have them add the wife in there. And then they have the ability to share that feed and share properties back and forth through here, so that you don't have to be dealing with emails or group texts or anything like that. You can just put them all in the app, which kind of makes everything all home in one spot, which is good. You have the spot that says your account that allows you to create a profile. This, again, would be the profile of the buyer. This is not the profile of the real estate agent. This is a profile of the buyer. Then if we go back one more, if we go back one more, they have a password so they can log in. The places section is pretty cool. This is where those commute times that we were talking about are calculated from. So they can add in wherever they work, where they go to school. They just hit add another place. And maybe they want to go to, I don't know. I feel like everybody loves going to Target. So let's put Target on there. So they want to know how close they are to Target, and they should always have that ability to be able to see how close that house is going to be to Target. But they can put anything they want in there. And if at any time they don't want to look at that anymore, they don't care about that anymore, they can just delete it. So I would encourage them to set up their places, pretty early on in the process to make it a little bit easier. They have a feedback section where they can add feedback about the app if they want. And then there's a spot that says tools, which has a few things. So Kelle Covered is insurance. Kelle Mortgage is obviously mortgage. Affordability calculator is the calculator to figure out how much payment and how much house they can get with the money that they want. And then if they go to other, they can share the app. So the reason that you want to have this on your phone as a consumer is because this is the best way to share the app. If I go to share the app, I can share it with people that I've recently talked to or had a conversation with. And I can look at this and say, okay, I want to share the app to this person, and I can share it via my shortcuts or using messages or mail or Facebook or anything else that I use. And if I want to share this to Matt, this is what it looks like. And then when he gets that text, that thing that says KWRI link will be my branded link. So he'll get it and it will send him right to my branded link. So agents, I realize I was telling you for a while there to make sure you have your consumer hat on. But the reason you want to make sure you have this set up on your phone is for that share this app feature. So if you meet someone, you can share it right to them right from the app. So make sure you're set up. Make sure you have your branded app. It's your name and your picture at the top. And then that way, whenever you want to share it, instead of having to try to remember that code or know where you put it, you can just hop right on the app here, scroll down to the share the KW app, and then share it out that way. So that is pretty much it. We covered 2 apps there in 45 minutes. So anybody have any questions? Is anybody having struggles? Does anybody not have the app yet? Tell me where we're at if you need any help. And if not, you guys are free.